Now we start off with this part, how terrorists use internet to reinforce ideology. So first off, the terrorists basically use differential association online, in which youths enter online echo chambers via Facebook groups, Telegram channels, and WhatsApp clusters, which basically means that whatever they have in their mind is sort of amplified by way of saying that whatever they say, people uh, recorporate what they're thinking, they give them positive responses, and then they think that they're justified into becoming radicalized, right? So terror outfits such as ISIS-K and TTP create closed digital circles which extremists view to become normal. So basically they cordon them off into this sort of environment where whatever they view becomes normal, right? Exposure to like-minded extremist peers, they learn criminal definitions favorable to terrorism. So anti-state behavior becomes normalized, and they believe that that is their new normal. So brainwashing uh, can be put into it. So, for example, the Mumbai attacks, right, that happened in India, were led by suicide bombers who thought that uh, what they were doing was correct and would lead them into heaven after blasting themselves, right? So examples in Pakistan include TTP Online, a propaganda search post 2021 via Pashto language forum, as well as ISIS-K telegram channels targeting KPK and Balochistan's youth. Second is imitation through multimedia propaganda. Terrorists share things such as martyrdom videos, battlefield clips, nasheed-backed motivational montages, symbolic imagery, which the youth are moved by, and they believe that to be the true ideology. So, youth observe and imitate symbolic heroes, treating militancy as a noble lifestyle. Case studies include, for example, a Lahore youth arrested in 2022, radicalized through ISIS beheading videos and online preacher content, reported by CTD Punjab. Karachi teen in 2016 was inspired by online ISIS recruiters to conduct knife attacks. Differential reinforcement includes reward, status, and validation. Online communities give social approval like praises and inclusion, emotional reinforcement through phrases like you are chosen, you are so brave, and identity rewards. So they basically give them an identity, which, as we all know, the youth craves through the defender of the Ummah, right? Warrior. And a very important concept is of gamified radicalization. ISIS is known to have used video game style graphics that offer dopamine rewards and mimic online gaming achievements that reinforce extremist behaviors. A UNODC report in 2023 states that social media likes are a key reinforcement mechanism in youth radicalization networks. Uh, Definitions and moral, religious, ideological justifications. Terrorists use internet to supply cognitive definitions that frame violence as a religious obligation, defense of oppressed Muslims, anti-state rightness, and a duty against imperialism. So basically, they justify these acts. So just coming back to the first definition that we went over of radicalization, which was the individuals believing that they're justified in their actions to achieve the politicized objectives, right? So that comes into play. And the methods that they use are misinterpreted religious texts, pseudo lectures, hashtags and slogans, and various other conspiracy theories. Uh, Coming on to why Pakistani youth are more vulnerable to this sort of an ideology is because number one, there is a high youth unemployment, about 20 to 25%. There are very much emotional grievances within the Pakistani youth, such as Kashmir, Gaza, sectarian divides. Most of our youth population, is very weak in digital literacy. So young users cannot differentiate propaganda from a religious content. There is distrust in state institutions, and extremist narratives fill the gap. One could also argue that you could put in a postmodernist approach over here, a constructivist approach that realities are often constructed, and way forward in which we could write probably a double reading method that was given to us by someone. I think you can research double reading method that can helps us deconstruct constructed realities. Uh, well, carrying on. So some evidences and statistics that we have over here. So UNDP Pakistan 2021 says that radicalized youth often join due to ideological appeal reinforced online, not poverty alone. Europol states that 90% of extremist recruitment now begins online, and similar patterns were found by NACTA Pakistan 2023. PTA has blocked over 1.1 million extremist URLs from 2016 to 2024, and CTT Punjab states that 70% of arrested ISIS sympathizers were radicalized through online propaganda. So, coming on to the countermeasures that are based on social learning reversal. This chapter might seem a bit weird to you. That's just because the question in which this year was asked was that you had to relate it to Sutherland's uh, differential association theory. So that's why it's sort of theory heavy, or utilizing a singular theory. So, first off, we can provide counter definitions and narratives, right? So, digital cleric networks can be utilized. State backed Pegham Pakistan can be utilized. Youth influences, short form videos debunking extremist claims, those could really work in countering ideology. Counter reinforcement. So we could, reward positive online behavior through scholarships, certification badges, youth innovation contests, digital volunteer networks. We could give pro social models, which refers to positive imitation, promote role models, so people get more influenced by them. So Pakistani peace activists, female educators, police heroes, young entrepreneurs. So this really needs to be state led in order to make any sort of a difference. So counter association networks such as hashtag flood extremist hashtags with peaceful content. We can create safe and online spaces for youth grievances. That could really work. And now just some thing that you can probably just read over by pausing the screen. Right, I'll just read it out to you as well. Using the social learning perspective, youth radicalization through the internet in Pakistan can be understood as a process of learning extremist beliefs through online associations, imitation, reinforcement, and cognitive definitions. Terrorist groups actively exploit digital platforms to transform vulnerable young people into ideological sympathizers. Firstly, under differential association, extremist organizations maintain encrypted Telegram channels, WhatsApp groups, and social media circles where youth are continuously exposed to pro terror definitions. Such echo chambers normalized extremist discourse. CDT Punjab reports a majority of recent ISIS inspired arrests were linked to closed online groups. Secondly, imitation plays a critical role. Thirdly, differential reinforcement occurs when young followers receive online approval, praise, and validation. And finally, extremists promote favorable definitions by misusing religious texts and producing ideological justifications. So, first, what happens is that they produce echo chambers, right, where people who already have sort of an inclination towards such part, such thought process are further sort of, influenced to join those areas. Secondly, imitation plays a critical role. Terrorists distribute martyrdom videos, right, and people imitate these violent acts. Thirdly, differential reinforcement occurs, and finally, extremists promote favorable definitions by misusing religious texts and producing ideological justifications. To reverse this learning process, we must strengthen digital literacy, use counter narratives, promote positive online role models, and create youth engagement. Very similar to this topic, so now you can see sort of how the topics are progressing, right? So now media representation of crime and the criminal justice system. So again, about narrative discourse generation, and that was also about narrative discourse generation. This doesn't have much theories, though. Like I said, you can add a constructivist approach or postmodern thinkers like Michel Foucault or Jacques Derrida. You can add over here, look them up and add them. So now we will continue towards the next topic, which is media representation of crime and the criminal justice system.